started yet?
Well, I guess we have.
We have started.
Hi!
Hi!
We are
a close-knit family.
I'm Sue.
I'm Michael.
We're coming at you from the north, the very smoky.
Very smoky.
North Smokanogan.
North Smokanogan, Armstrong.
BC.
Canada. North America.
North America.
Earth.
Yeah, smoky
Soul.
place. This is episode
20!
And it is August 19th, 2018.
Woo!
And
It's done!
And that's done.
And we're together!
Apparently we haven't done this in a while.
Apparently not.
And we're together.
Push you a little bit, just a little bit that way.
Together at last. Together forever. We're two of a kind. Whatever, whatever. The skies are blue. I don't need anything but you. Okay, yeah, sorry. I apologize.
This thing's already getting warm.
We're a knitcast.
Knitcast.
Not a singing bad musical comedy song.
No. Documenting my adventures as a beginner knitter.
And my ongoing addiction to yarn and knitting and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah! So here we are!
Here we are!
And should we talk about the elephant that's not in the room anymore? This!
Yeah, oh yeah! The Ranger Cowl's done!
Foes!
Oh! I took it off because it was too warm and now I have to put it back on again.
Which is even warmer. So yeah, he's finished it!
It's backwards? No, it's sideways.
Something's wrong with it. Anyway, it is finished!
Yes!
So look how warm and cozy.
And it is just, yeah, it's so good. And then, yeah, pop the hood down.
Put
it's just
that
kind of
down. So yeah, that's like, someone's gonna be toasty warm.
Mm-hmm.
This, yeah, this winter. Mike actually said to me, he said, should I just wear this when I'm DMing D&D?
When I'm playing D&D.
It's like, dude, you're gonna be way too warm.
Oh yeah, you know, do the whole... You enter a tavern.
Oh my gosh! When you do that, all I can think of is blah, 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 blah.
Monty Python.
Monty Python.
And the monks.
The whole, what is that? Holy Grail.
Domine, doma eis requiem.
Bonk. Oh my god. Anyway, sorry. Monty Python fans will understand
that might be a spoiler for later, but anyway.
Monty Python fans will understand that. Okay, so for your viewing pleasure today, we have the regular, you know, foes, whips, stuff like that.
Still too warm.
Take it off. It's time. I was so cold today.
Yeah, it's kind of cooled down just a little bit.
That smoke. Anyway, let me go back to what we have coming up for you, and then we'll ramble. So all the usual stuff, what Mike brings to the table, events from around the world. I am going to do a little lesson on yarn weights and what's the difference between worsted and woolen spun. Because that's been coming up a lot lately. It's like, I don't know what to use. So we're going to talk a little bit about that.
It'll be a learning experience for both of us.
And, a new designer I found.
Ooh.
And anyway, new to me designer.
Yes.
Canadian designer. Anyway, so, yeah, smoke. Holy crap. So, the temperature in our house this morning when I got up was 61 degrees.
Oh, that's cold. Fahrenheit.
Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is in Celsius. It's so funny. We do like house temperature in Fahrenheit.
In Fahrenheit. Just because that's how our thermostat is.
Outside temperature in Celsius. How confusing is that?
I mean, I read the manual for a thermostat once, and it was like,
we can switch it.
Yeah, we can switch it. You just have to cut some of the circuitry.
Oh.
And I told Dad that, and he was like, ah.
You know what? I mean, it's how I grew up with the house, you know, this is what room temperature is. And if it was in Celsius, I wouldn't know what I was talking about. So that would just be confusing. But yeah, no, it was 61 degrees. And yesterday it was so smoky. It was 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, okay, I took a picture. So I think we had a picture from like a week or two ago of the smoke.
I think so, yeah.
And it was like, whoa, smoking noggin. And here's the picture. So we're going to put that picture up again. Yes. And then we're going to follow that with a picture I took yesterday. Like the same view. So you can see just, like, it's gross. I came in from shopping and I couldn't see. I had to turn lights on to enter my house. And usually it's quite bright in our house. Yep. Like, you don't need lights on anywhere during the daytime. Yep. It was sad. Yep. But anyway, the other result of that is it's freaking cold. So I actually posted a picture on Instagram this morning of me. I'm all wrapped up in I have my bolero on. I have my scarf. This is the triple treat scarf from the Cozy Up. Girls, which I love. I chose this one because it's a little bit lighter. I didn't want too much, and I'm all around and a blanket on, and I put socks on.
Wow, you're normally a very warm person.
Oh yeah. So I had all that stuff on, and I was still cold. I'm pulling the blanket up higher and higher. It was nuts. Anyway, I'm doing better. It's now 62 degrees in the house. But I decided I was going to do some ribs on the barbecue today, but I chose to do them in the oven. You don't turn the oven on in the summertime around here.
No.
But speaking of blankets, because I just wanted to. So
it's vibrating.
This is. Oh, have I got? This is okay.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, my tablet was doing weird things. So this is an entrelac blanket that I made many years ago. And it's, besides the fact that it's pretty, it's nothing special. I just did entrelac with a yarn that just made this pattern.
Yep, this is all one yarn.
Well, it's a number of balls, but I haven't...
It's one style of...
Anyway.
Yes, you know what we were trying to say.
I didn't stop and start. Yes. Anyway. And everyone's always like, oh, wow, how'd you do that? So, okay, it's entrelac. So if you look up how to do entrelac, that's what it is. Okay. And then it's a yarn with just a longer, but not too long, color repeat variation in it. And I bring that up because my local friends, I was at Twist of Yarn yesterday, and in their sale room, and you know where it is if you've been there, in their sale room they have a 100% acrylic yarn that would do that quite nicely. It was called Big something. Anyway, that's my tablet. Just turning on after I confused it. Oh, heck. So, that's why I brought that up. There you go.
There you go.
What's going on with you?
Not much. I finished this.
Yeah? Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right.
Just been working hard.
So,
yeah.
Not hardly working hard, but hardly anyway. I realized too, one of my friends, Susan, pointed out to me yesterday. Hi, Susan. I know you don't watch. That she had not seen, because I haven't put this on my Ravelry, which is where she looks for this stuff. But I never showed the very final, it's finished, of my Stroll in the Orchard sweater. And I am going to be entering this in the fair, the IPE.
Ooh.
But the happy happenstance of this is it actually, like, this is how I was hoping it would wear. Yeah. Like, I know other people would say you can't close it. Yeah. Right? But this is how I was hoping it would wear. And so I can wear it, which was It wasn't intentional because I was making this for I was making it for someone smaller than me to actually close.
Yeah.
To be worn. So in that sense, my pattern was right on. The happenstance is that I like wearing my sweaters the way I showed, and I can actually wear it.
Yay!
So that's my Midnight Cravings, A Stroll in the Orchard, or the colorway all the way through. And talk lots about it on other episodes.
Yep.
So if you want more
of that,
you can go look for that.
Absolutely.
On our previous episodes.
Yeah.
Wasn't that exciting? So that was a faux. You have a faux.
I have a faux. I also have a whip.
And you have a whip.
I have a whip.
Let's see your whip.
My whip is the Yarn Quest 2018 scarf that is ongoing. So if you are planning on doing Yarn Quest 2018, this may have possible spoilers for you, although you'd have to interpret my knitting.
Just don't.
I'll have a if you don't want to see it, here is the timestamp to skip to in the video. I also last time put a little, just the word spoiler in the bottom. I don't know if that's entirely necessary, but I'll do it this time again. So anyway, here comes the spoilers. 3, 2, 1. So here's where I am now.
Honey, I'm so impressed.
Thank you. So yeah, first clue, it goes all the way up to, like you see this thing on the side. All of this is the first clue, and now these two things are into the second.
Except
clue.
for the part that's upside down.
Yeah, there's well, yeah, because
we don't talk about that anymore because we're past it.
Yeah, these two are upside down. These two charts are upside down. But you know what? It adds character. Mine will never be the same as anyone else's.
And which is what this is all about.
Totally, yes.
Yeah.
If someone happens to make the exact same dice rolls as I did, there still will be different than mine. And of course, because it is double knit, it's similar on the other side as well.
This is cool.
Yeah, I like that. It's really nice. And so yeah, I'm now into the second clue, and yeah, I'm enjoying this. It's a cool
double knit color work, people. My beginner knitter.
Oh, don't look too closely at this though.
What have you learned?
What have I learned? Well, I've learned I've learned how to hold my yarn to make the color work easier while double knitting.
Teach me.
So I sort of, well, yeah.
You can show me.
So yeah, what I do is I figure out which color is going to be my main color, and when it's in the back, I have it so that's on top of my index finger, and my second color is on the bottom, and then I wrap them both in there like that, and then up my fourth finger and down, just so I can get the right tension.
For your tension, yeah.
And then I knit that, and then to turn it around to the front side, I just kind of hook it the other way, and then flip it over, so that now my other yarn is on top for my purling.
Good.
And then if I need to, I will, and then when I need to switch colors from this point, I just kind of flip it over like that. And this will introduce a twist, which I then remedy later by the next time I do it. Instead of just doing that, I actually like flip it over and then twist it the other way.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's yeah, I actually when I was starting, the only time I've ever double knit, it was in the round.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to worry about the edges.
Oh.
And you never taught me about the edges, where you have to twist your yarn at the edges.
Oh, I don't know if I knew that. I didn't teach you anything because you just started this without me.
Yeah, you knit one, and then when you bring all your yarn to the front to purl the next stitch, you twist them.
Okay.
And then you purl and then keep going. And ideally, that's the only stitch you twist on a row, but with color work like this, you end up twisting them a lot.
I see.
My edges are so rough.
Yeah, but honey, please.
Okay.
Okay? Get over it.
But yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah,
and if you're worried about it, you know, try and do better. But
yeah, again, if
it's an experience thing.
If you really start like picking this apart, okay, there's a place where I clearly didn't put growth yarn as the front, and I picked up a stitch weird there, and
it's all good. I am so proud of you because you started that and everything on your own. Just a little bit of confusion about top down, bottom up.
Yeah, and actually, well, yeah, it was interesting because here you can see this one stitch that I picked up weird, but that's because I was knitting it on the other side, and I kept coming back to this one spot because it's like, hang on, my knits and purls aren't lining up properly. But that's because I had dropped a stitch on the other side, and it was now like 3 rows down.
Yeah.
So I had to.
Looking at that just now, I'm thinking you actually, there's some...
I know, there's something back there that I didn't pick up.
Yeah, but you know what?
It's, okay.
It's great.
It's okay.
It's great.
It's okay.
Yeah, good job.
Thank you.
I'm proud of you. Oh. Oops. Okay, so I have acquisitions and...
Oh, we skipped right over acquisitions.
Well, yeah, except that it's a whip too, so...
Oh.
Anyway, okay. Whips.
Whips.
You know how much I like whips. Anyway, sorry. Okay, whips. My sweater... Oh, shoot! I promised myself I wouldn't do this in the middle of a row so that I could put it on for you, but I can't because I'm in the middle of the row and just dropped half my stitches. It's only a cable. So, it's not like there'll be any problem with screwing them up when I pick them up. Oh, look, I'm really close to the end of this row.
I think you missed one.
Yeah, I'll come back to that.
Okay.
So, I am just going to take a moment and finish this row.
Maybe
talk amongst yourselves.
Maybe this is where Michael will learn how to fast forward video into sort of a time-lapse system. Otherwise...
Amongst yourselves. So anyway, this is my... Okay, otherwise, Michael was going to say...
No, I was just going to say, maybe I'll figure out how to like actually fast-forward sections of video so that we can get through this quickly. Yeah. Otherwise, here's a cut. But if you want to say something, then...
So this is the sweater I've been designing.
Mm-hmm.
And I now have 2 sleeves on it.
Ooh.
And I have started running down the body. And, sorry, now I'm picking up a stitch, one that actually dropped down a bit. I picked up the body and I was, around because body is like pretty straightforward. And I got to a point and I was like, I was watching someone else's cast. And they said something about pockets, and I was like, pockets!
Pockets?
I forgot to put the pockets. But good news. So, and if you've been following along, my goal with this is to have like no finishing necessary. I kind of didn't make that happen with the sleeves, but it's minimal finishing. Let's put it that way. So I was like, pockets, which I just said a minute ago.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. And anyway, so then I started knitting I figured out where they were going to go and blah, blah, blah. And I started knitting them in, and, I didn't like what I had going on.
Oh.
So I pulled out about this much of the body yesterday. And now
you're finished the row.
That's why there was a stitch marker floating around in the other room.
Oh, because you missed it? Because
I dropped it. Anyway, but that's okay. So here is where I'm at. Ooh, I can't pull the body around because the cord's too
tight.
Too tight, but anyway, here we are, and I just want to show you. Here's the detail on the end of the sleeve. Again, I just think it's a cool detail because you get a little bit of that color. But inside, so the cuff is lined with the contrast color. And I'm just realizing that our lights are in the wrong spot. We didn't move them properly.
Oh, well.
So there's the oh, and I've been calling this colorway wrong. It's called Solomon's Robes, not King Solomon's Robes. So that's bad on me. So anyway, there's this, I just love this colorway. So that's sort of the detail on the sleeves. And yeah, no stitches to pick up under the arm. I did a smooth transition there. And yeah, so for those of you who have been with us for a little while, you'll know that I knit this up with a different colorway. I frogged it back to the collar and knit it again. And now I'm just restarting putting the sleeves on. So there's that whip. And I've been quite monogamous about that, which means I probably won't be finishing our brioche cowl. And you know, people get in on that because am I still the only one in there?
Last I checked.
So like somebody just has to enter and you're like a guaranteed winner. Like if you've been working on something brioche,
just get it in there.
Get it in there. But you know, if you don't want to, that I understand. I won't, you know. So yarn acquisitions and whips.
Yarn acquisitions and whips.
Oh! Okay. We're going to back the bus up. Just
okay.
No, we're not. I'll carry on. Are you with me still?
I'm not.
So, I went to see my friend Carla at Knit 2 Yarns in Kamloops.
Oh, when did you do that?
On our way to the wedding last week.
Oh, okay.
So we were driving through Kamloops to go to Vancouver, and I'd forgotten that we were going to stop there. And then as we're driving in, and I'm telling my husband, like, oh yeah, that's where the fire was when we were here last time. And then I was like, oh, yarn shop, we have to stop. So I went in and I filmed a thing.
Okay.
In the yarn store.
Okay.
And it's really probably way too long.
Okay.
But so we might cut it up a bit, or you might get
the
whole thing.
Maybe we'll upload that on its own.
I was just like, I love that. She's got everything in there. So as I was walking around and I was filming, I came across this Barocco Mykonos, and I don't know if you can see. Yeah, it's very satiny. It's very, very satiny. So this is linen, nylon, and cotton. So I'm thinking the nylon is probably what's wrapped around the linen and cotton that gives it this shiny. Anyway, I'm like a satin maniac. I love my satin. So this Carla had one of these knit up in the store, and I picked it up, and it just felt so that's Odell from Knit Mykonos, and it's in can we talk about this scarf for a moment?
Whoa.
That scarf is fabulous.
That's quite the scarf.
So but anyway, it felt just lovely. The weight of the sweater and the way it draped. So I decided I had to make one.
Naturally.
Because that's what happens.
Of course.
So here is my my beginning.
Ooh.
For that. So it's a dark teal blue. And I gotta tell you, I'm looking at our camera and it looks like fluorescent green.
We know it's not, but it's still funny to look at.
Anyway, this is a very goldy yellow, and I'm just doing a couple of little detail lines. That's it, down at the bottom. The rest of it will be blue. I might put a couple around the neck or something. So there it is, balled up, and it's gonna be a pain.
On our monitor, it looks like safety vest yellow.
Yeah. It's going to be a huge pain to ball up because it is so slippery. So basically what I'm doing with it is I'm keeping it inside a pocket in my project bag. So there's a little peek inside. So I've got them inside the pocket so that as it comes off the ball, it's like not just like exploding all over everything. It's kind of staying a little bit contained. Anyway, so I'm looking forward to that. For me, that'll be a winter top. Not for anyone else, but for me it will be because that's who I am. Anyway, so that's my yarn acquisitions.
Whips.
Foes. Okay, do you want to, I'm trying to decide what we should do now.
We didn't set out an itinerary this time.
And I've got so many things to talk about. So let me talk about new designer.
Okay.
So I came across this guy on Instagram the other day. He's a Canadian designer from Toronto.
Ooh.
His name is Kyle Vey.
Right, you were showing me some of this.
V-E-Y. He goes by Knitaholic T.O. Toronto. Knitaholic T.O. On Ravelry and on Instagram, I'm pretty sure. I love his design aesthetic. It's definitely because we don't see enough of it, I don't think. But it comes from the male perspective, but it's totally unisex, very dimensional and geometric.
Geometric is a good thing for one of them is I think is just called Parallel, and it has lots of lines.
And then Indecisive, I think, is another one that I love. And he's just coming out with a cowl that's actually, it's the first one I've seen with sort of some round stuff to it. But I love his, anyway, check him out. Kyle Vey, Knitaholic T.O. Okay, well, I'm not going to bother talking about that right now either. So Mike!
Hi!
What do you bring to the table?
I knew it was coming. I knew it would come eventually. Today I am recommending the greatest tabletop role-playing game in the world, Dungeons and Dragons. That great big D&D up there.
Peekaboo!
With this the great big storm giant fighting a character on the front. D&D is an engine for storytelling. You and a group of friends, one of you as the dungeon master, travel through this story, and it's particularly 5th edition, which is the one that I play most in, it's in fact the only one I've ever played in, is very, very loose in its rule set. D&D, when it got into 5th edition, decided instead of having a rule for every situation, we will have a general set of rules that can be applied and say, figure it out on your own.
Yeah.
But particularly, Mom and I have talked a lot about watching Critical Role while we knit, and now I have managed to actually get Mom into a party. And for those of you who are D&D inclined, we will be running Tomb of Annihilation. Yeah. That's where I'm starting her. You should not start with Tomb of Annihilation. You should get the starter set first, you and also assemble 4 other friends. But anyway, one thing that Mom actually suggested, yeah?
Can I just say something real quick? Because we were actually talking about this at knitting yesterday.
Were you?
We were. And one of the ladies there was saying that her husband used to play this with her sons. She worked evenings, and her husband would play this with her sons. But what he did is for all of the, to get through this door, you need to add these 2 numbers together. Or, so instead of being roll
dice,
we're gonna crash, bang, boom, and he was using it as a teaching tool.
Nice. And that's certainly a valid application of this.
Yeah, and I thought that was cool.
Yes.
Or maybe you roll the 2 dice and add them together.
Yes. Well, yeah.
Or I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just relaying information.
Yeah.
So anyway, just, yeah, like it doesn't have to be, you know.
Yeah, you
like
can. There are ways of making it simpler and ways of making it harder and such. But as I said, I've been trying to get Mom into a party, and as such, we have the beginnings of her first character. And Mom thought it would be a cool idea if we went through one of the things that she needs to do to make her character. She's already done a fair amount.
Feel my pain. The other night I said to Mike, I said, dude, we have to stop.
Yeah, well...
I can't think about this anymore.
I think you managed to choose one of the classes with, like, the most amount of upfront choices. So, and combined with your race, giving you a cantrip, giving you a spell.
So, just so you know, I am a high elf. Mm-hmm. Don't I just look like a high elf? Can you see me? I'm tall and well.
Actually, elves in D&D are short.
I'm short, but gorgeous. And I'm a ranger. Mm-hmm. I can't remember why I picked those things, but
currently level 1, because that's where we're starting.
But I speak Draconic. Mm-hmm. That means I can speak with dragons.
She can, and anything else that speaks Draconic. Also, Common and Elvish.
Everyone should be able to speak with dragons.
Yes.
Just ask. Okay, so now I have to pick what, did you say?
A favored enemy.
A favored enemy.
Beginning at first level, you have significant experience studying, tracking, hunting, and even talking to a certain type of enemy. Choose a type of favored enemy. Aberrations, beasts, celestials, constructs, dragons, elementals, fae, fiends, giants, monstrosities, oozes, plants, or undead. Alternatively, you can select 2 races of humanoids, such as gnolls and orcs, as favorite enemies.
Okay, so where's my list?
It's this paragraph.
Fiends.
Yes, fiends fiends are like, devils, demons, that such.
Fiends.
Fiends, okay, you have chosen fiends. So,
there's more.
Well, no, that's just, okay, so...
I'm smiling still.
So yeah, favorite enemy, fiend.
Where?
Under your features and traits there.
Oh, okay. What do I put? Enemy, fiend?
Favorite enemy, fiends.
Enemy, fiends.
And
I thought it said friends at first.
No.
I was like, excuse me?
No, fiends.
Okay, fiends.
So what that means is you have advantage on survival checks to track your favorite enemies, as well as on intelligence checks to recall information about them. When you gain this feature, you also learn one language of your choice that is spoken by your favorite enemies if they speak one at all. So...
Do you see why my brain was sort of exploding the other night?
So now I just need to...
So now I have to learn another language.
Well, yes, but
it's really quick though.
Yeah, this one is
boom,
good. Yeah, this one is.
It.
We figure out what they speak. I'm wondering language. Let's go with 123.
Are you bored yet?
I might cut some of this out, or maybe we just.
No, this is not bad. This is
we made a scrap this entirely. So 123. I wonder if it's going to tell me.
Welcome to playing Dungeons and
Welcome
Dragons.
to playing.
This is just one thing that we're sort. I said maybe we can just do like one thing. This is just doing one thing.
So I think the only language that is spoken by fiends other than Common is Abyssal.
Okay, then I'm gonna learn Abyssal.
Mm-hmm, that goes in your languages.
That goes in my languages with Draconic and Abyssal. Sounds like abysmal, but anyway, Abyssal. Abyssal. Okay.
A-L.
Abyssal.
There you go.
Fiend language.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so is that it?
That's the one thing you need to choose for your favorite enemy.
So there we go.
There's still one more thing you need to choose for your class, but
we'll do that another time.
Then you also need to figure out your background, and then we need to do a whole bunch of math.
We haven't even started playing the game yet.
No.
Love it. Thanks so much.
This is the D&D experience.
It's great. It's fun. It's pretending to be someone you're not.
You haven't even figured out a name for your character yet.
And it's like acting And we love acting.
Yeah.
See, now I'm too warm. It's because I'm so close to you, I think.
Yeah, I'm kind of warm too, so.
Okay. All right.
Alrighty.
So, in other news.
Oh.
I feel a bit like I'm doing a newsreader here. For those of you who aren't paying attention, or haven't been paying attention, Joji Locatelli is doing a fall cal. So Joji Fall Cal 18. And right now she has 25% off all her patterns until August 31st with the code JFK. Joji Fall Cal.
Okay.
So if you don't know who Joji Locatelli is, where have you been? And
where have you been?
You should look up her patterns. Joji for Joji, Fall Cal. And she's Joji Locat on Ravelry, that place where we do that thing. Okay, I already talked about that. So, oh, I'm sorry, I totally forgot to tell you about this, but you're going to learn about something that we're going to do starting in January. And this might seem like a really weird time to bring this up, but you might want to get your head kind of wrapped around it.
I'm learning.
Mm-hmm. Starting January 1st, 2019.
2019?
We are going to do a temperature, scarf, shawl, blanket, item of your choice.
Oh.
Cal.
Cool.
So, if you don't know what this is, it's where you knit a row of color for the temperature every day. I think that well, I know I'm going to do the high and low temperature, because how do you pick the temperature of the, I suppose you could always choose to do the high temperature, but in wintertime it's more fun to do the low temperature.
Yeah.
And in summer it's more fun to do the high temperature.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do the high and the low temperature every day. And I think I'm going to do it in garter stitch. So when you look at it, one side will be all the high temperatures, and the other side will be all the low temperatures.
That's a double knit.
No, it'll just be garter stitch. Oh no, I guess the bumps will be all mixed up, won't they?
Yeah.
Oh shoot. Well, anyway, I'm going to
double knit.
If you search temperature scarf on Ravelry, you'll see lots of examples there. We're going to put a picture here of the first one that I ever came across. And then we're going to put in a couple of pictures here of my friend Brenda.
Ooh.
Is working on a temperature blanket.
Ooh. Biggie.
She started it in January. I contacted her today to ask her if it was okay to use the pictures, and she said she hasn't like caught up over the summer. She's been kind of busy, so she's got some catching up to do. But it looks really neat, and I think hers is crocheted. Not 100% sure, but there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying that I think that's what she's doing. She did say that she would. Lots of people have been asking her for the pattern she's using, and she is planning to write it up and make it a freebie available thing before the end of the year. So that's an option too. The idea is you pick a range, a temperature range. So you might have like where we live, minus 30 to minus 20 or it depends how many colors you want to have in it, right? So minus 30 to minus 20, minus 20 to minus 10, minus 10 to 0, 0 to 10, blah, 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 blah. You get it. And then you assign a color to those temperature ranges. And then you knit a row, or you may choose to do 2 rows, who knows, of that color every day. Or you just keep really good track and you catch them up. I'm pretty sure that there are ways to look at historical data. So if you happen to go on vacation, I'm sure you could catch up the temperatures.
Alternatively, use the temperatures of where you are.
Use the temperature of where you are. But they're kind of cool. They're kind of like a fade.
Middle of winter, go to Mexico.
Yeah. Yellow background. So yeah, they're kind of like a fade because you go from, you know, this winter color and then you go into your spring, summer, and then you go back into the kind of wintry colors again, back down the other way. So anyway, I think they're cool. So we'll do that as a knit along for 2019.
Okay.
So it'll be starting January 1st. So if it's something you want to join in on, look up some patterns. It doesn't have to be like anything fancy.
Mom was just going to do garter stitch.
I was just going to do garter stitch.
Maybe she'll still do garter stitch.
Still going to do garter stitch, I think. I'm just going to rethink it a little bit.
What about like massive stitches?
What?
What about like doing garter stitch but with really big needles and stitches?
Well, then it would just be super long because remember, you're going to have 365 rows. Okay. Keep that in mind, right? So you're going to have 365 rows unless you do 2 temperatures a day.
In which case you'll have 700.
800. Oh, 700, sorry. You're much better than I am at math. Okay. So that's a thing that we're going to do in 2018.
Yes.
And it'll be fun if everyone, you know, posts sort of their progress along the way and seeing how people from different places, how the different colors come up. I did see there was one lady in our group who was doing one for herself and for her sister and her mother. And they all live in different locations. Oh. And so once a month she would post the three of them side by side. And to see like this is what the temperature blanket scarf looks like here. This is what it looks like for my sister, and this is what it looks like for my mom. And it was cool. It's kind of neat. If you live somewhere where the temperature is pretty constant, you might want to do it by a degree at a time. I don't know. That's up to you to decide how many colors you want to have. Then break down your temperature range and go from there.
I would say we have about a 50 degree difference between winter and coldest winter and hottest summer.
We sometimes get below 30.
That's true.
And we sometimes get as high as 40 or higher. So,
yeah. Who knows?
Somewhere in there.
We'll figure it out.
We will figure it out. And everyone, you know, do your own thing. So anyway, that's a plan ahead thing. Because you want to find yarn.
Yarns, yep.
And you want to find the yarn that's going to have your color range that you're after for doing your temperature blanket.
Yeah.
So that's a prepare ahead thing.
Yes.
But speaking of somewhere that might have like all the colors that you're after.
Yes.
Here's my little video from going to Knit 2 Yarns in Kamloops. So check that out. All right, so I stopped at my new favorite, don't tell anyone else, yarn store. Knit 2 Yarns in Kamloops, and what I think my favorite thing is, she has all these indie dye makers yarns, and I'm sure there's other places around that have them, but I haven't found them yet, and I keep wanting to buy yarn online, and I can never. I need to see, touch, feel it. It's just who I am. So, yeah, Carla is wonderful. Look at all the yarn! And they're all Canadian. Oh, Sweet Georgia, I was with Allison the other night at Knit Night. I might get to hang out with, well, I don't know. Maybe I can hook up with her when I go to the UK in a couple of years. But it's nice. Yeah, anyway, I talked about her once before. She's the Sweet Georgia rep, but she lives in London. Look at all these beautiful yarns. And oh, hi, Carla. Hello. I hope you don't mind. I can cut that out if that's a problem. Look at those. See, I only have just barely started, but look at all the beautiful yarn. The display is gorgeous? And so here's me. I'll start going faster now because we're past my most favorite wall. I mean, it's just never ending. Oh, there was this one I just picked up when I got here. I hadn't seen this before. Mykonos from Barocco. It's like, you can't see the sheen on that. It feels like satin. It's wonderful, and I love satin. Just look at it all. Carla, how long have you had this shop?
2 years.
2 years. There's Carla again. And it's gorgeous.
Thank you.
It's absolutely gorgeous. Then we've got the Jameson, which is totally on my... Oh! I gotta look at that book. I mean, it just goes on and on. Okay, I think I've done enough of this. How much time can you guys actually spend watching me walk around a yarn shop? But look at it all. So like I said before, if you're in Kamloops, around Kamloops, near Kamloops, driving through Kamloops, you need to come to Knit 2 Yarns. Because she's got it all in here. Okay, so what a great shop. And yeah, Carla's awesome. Carla, I love you. Okay, anyway, now we're going to do a little bit of learning.
Okay. Put on my thinking cap.
A little bit of learning stuff. So a couple things. Oh, shoot.
Oh, shoot.
I wanted to have some Play-Doh or something for this.
Do we have any Play-Doh in the house?
So we're going to use our imaginations.
Imagination.
A lot has... Okay, so first things first. I keep hearing the terms worsted spun and woolen spun. And I'm like, whatever. But they are different. And it's important to understand the why and the how and stuff. I'm not sure I've ever seen on a ball band where it says worsted spun or woolen spun, but I hear people talking about it a lot, so I'm like, what does that mean? I found out.
Oh, cool.
So, worsted spun is, well, in the spinning process, it is carded and then combed. And so the combing takes out more of the longer fibers. And when it's spun, the worsted spun, so if these are the fibers, if you've seen the bats of roving and fiber ready to be spun, worsted spun, the fibers are going the same direction as the spinner is pulling them out. So the fibers are going this way, the fibers are coming out this way. Woolen spun is carded only, so it doesn't get the extra combing, and the fibers are going this way and are being pulled this way to be spun. And that's why with a woolen spun, you get a fluffier and more grabby yarn. And so the woolen spun are the good ones for things like color work, where you want the yarn to grab a bit more. And of course there's different like specific fibers that are better for that as well. But so that's a very quick, brief difference between worsted spun and woolen spun. Do you feel more knowledgeable?
Additional knowledge acquired.
Okay. The other thing that's been coming up a lot lately, and I see all sorts of kind of somewhat conflicting information running around, but you hear people like, oh, this is DK, and this is worsted, and this is fingering weight, and this is sock weight, and this is something else. And then if you're dealing with or you're listening to people who are talking from another part of the world, they're using different terms. They're 3-ply, 4-ply, and it's like, I don't understand.
I'm already lost.
So, and then, can I use this for this pattern? And how do I know it's the right kind of yarn? So, the important thing, because to me anyway, I feel that the important thing is that there's a common language, and the common language is meters per 100 grams. Because, so this is where we're going to use our imagination. So if you can imagine that I have a ball of clay, Play-Doh, whatever, and that would be my fiber. And I weigh that ball of clay, and it's 100 grams. And I take it and I do this, and now it's a sausage, and it's about this long. So that is still weighing 100 grams, but it's, let's say, okay, 50 meters, okay? We'll just use our imaginations. Now, if I take that same little sausage and make it thinner, now it's this long. It's 200 meters. It weighs the same, but it's a thinner tube. And I rub it more, and it's, you know, this long, and now it's 400 meters. It still weighs 100 grams, but it's a thinner tube. That's where yarn weight comes from. So typical yarn weights by like meters per 100 grams. And I would say if you're looking at a pattern and they say use a fingering weight, cross your fingers that they've put in there X number of meters, yards per 100 grams, ounces, whatever. So typical terminology. So for over 800 meters per 100 grams, commonly referred to as cobweb or thread around here, the standard in the United States is 0 or lace. In the UK it would be a 1-ply. For 600 to 800 meters per 100 grams, again it would be a 0 or a 2-ply in the UK. Super fine is referred to is a 1. It's referred to as a 3-ply in the UK, and that would be 500 to 600 meters per 100 grams. It can also be called a fingering weight. A 4-ply in the UK would be 350 to 450 meters per 100 grams.
What happened to over 50 meters?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's a 1, and again, sock or fingering. So you get quite a range, because if you look at the fingering range, it goes from 450 meters per 100 grams to 600 meters per 100 grams. You've also got to, of course, take into consideration the fiber content, because something that's got a heavier fiber in it, you're going to get
less.
Thank you. Less meterage. So it's all very confusing. But if you're looking at the same kind of fiber content, and if you look at the meters per 100 grams and try to match that up if you're really looking at it. So again, a number 2 is a fine or a 5-ply, and that's 250 to 350 meters per 100 grams, commonly referred to as a sport weight, baby weight. That one comes down here. Or, okay, now we get really confusing. A number 3 is also called a light. It's called DK in the UK. 200 to 250 meters per 100 grams. It's also called a 3-ply. What? A 3-ply was a fingering weight in the UK. How confusing can this possibly get? It's also called a worsted weight.
Is this payback for making you pick a favorite enemy?
So DK and worsted, you know, are a number 3. So we're having this conversation. Well, in my sweater, I use a DK and a worsted together in the yoke, and I was all freaked out that was going to be a big problem. Well, apparently they're the same thing. I guess what I'm trying to say is, don't get too wrapped up in is it a DK fingering sock, worsted lace, chunky, bulky, 3, 4, 6-ply, whatever. They're called different things all over the world. So your yarn label could be labeled differently depending on where in the world. Okay, now I'm boring.
Where in the
you.
world is Carmen Sandiego?
Where it was put together. I would personally, I make a point of checking the meters per 100 grams. And if I'm going to 2 different yarn companies or 2 different, yarns, I look at the meters per 100 grams, and if they're pretty darn close, then I feel those yarns are going to go together. So there you go. I'm sorry I bored you so much. All right. And what?
Oh,
You've dived into your.
no, I was just gonna be like, okay, so yeah, you chose fiends, which means you've chosen this guy as a favorite enemy.
Shut up. All right. Events around the world. Okay.
Everywhere.
Something that keeps coming up on my Instagram feed, and it's coming up pretty soon, is the Prairie Fiber Festival, which is being held in Lacombe, Alberta on September 8th.
Okay.
At the Lacombe Memorial Center. I have an eyelash in my eye.
Don't do
so if
that.
I'm poking at my eye a lot, it's because it's bugging me. And on Saturday, August 25th, I totally have an eyelash in my eye, is the Fiber Spirit Festival in Barrie, Ontario. Now, those are both from Canada, I know. Live with it.
They're still around the world. They just happen to both be in Canada.
They were the ones I found today. Okay, I think I have... Why did I bring this then?
I don't know. Why did you bring that?
I've talked about all the things that I was thinking about talking about.
That just
That
looks like
could
notes
be
on
it.
here.
And I am making my to-do list for Knit City.
Fantastic.
In Vancouver.
Wonderful.
At the end of September.
Nice.
Mike should come with me, shouldn't he? Comment below.
I have a job.
So you asked for time off.
Oh, our sock along.
Oh, the sock along.
Sock along is still going.
Yes.
For those of you who are new to us, and because I forgot to mention it last week, our sock along is going on from now until December 25th, Christmas Day. Basically, we have a thread going in our Ravelry group. For every completed set of adult socks that you post in there, you get an entry. For every set of socks that you then also donate somewhere, to someone in need, to the food bank, to the Salvation Army, to your local thrift store, you get another entry. So, get in there.
Get in there.
And do some good.
Make some socks.
Make some socks.
Donate them.
Donate them.
You know what? Make a hat. Donate it.
Okay, do that too.
There you go.
Make some gloves. Donate them.
Oh, okay. You're going to get points for donating.
Yeah.
Cause
Why limit it to socks? You know what? It's become a donation along.
And a sock along.
And a sock along.
So you can make your socks and get in on that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're donating your socks, hats, get in on that too.
Mm-hmm.
You just get one entry though.
Yeah.
Because then that's a donation thing.
Well, yeah, one entry for every donation that you make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I think.
Mike told me I need to get dice. Oh, there they are.
Yeah.
I don't know what color to get. But anyway.
It's very important what color you get.
I'm going to make him just get them for me.
Yeah. I'll find some and...
Goof. Anyway, I love you.
Me too.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's about everything.
This is the part where we say like subscribe,
comment, and subscribe, and hit the bell, and follow us on Ravelry, and follow us on Instagram, and send us an email if you need to, cnfpodcast@gmail.com.
Speaking of which, we have not heard from...
Mum23 now.
Mum23 now. Mum23 now. So...
I mean, we may have to post something in the Ravelry.
We might have to. So...
Which, I mean, I don't know why we didn't do that in the first place, but
Mum23 now, please email us at cnf, we know, podcast at gmail.com. You'll find us, yes, on Ravelry, Instagram, YouTube.
YouTube, that's about it.
Yeah, like us, subscribe to us. It helps us
grow,
reach more people.
Apparently someone gave us a shout out and that sent a whole bunch of you our way. So hi!
Hi, welcome.
I think we said hi to you already, but hi again!
Okay.
Alrighty, well.
And, yeah.
So, keep your knitting close and your family closer. Bye.